Anyway, Falcons BDS. Well, we've all made the mistakes across the last couple of play days where we've referred to Falcons as BDS. Like, it's just, you hear Shaiiko, you hear BDS. Like, it's, you know, these two are, you know, inseparably linked, I think is probably a way to say it. But ultimately, they're in the server under two different banners now, and I think we're going to have a good matchup, but I think BDS have really got their work cut out for them.
Key one worth noting is if Falcons win this game, and then I believe the Fnatic lose their game against Matchco or tie, whatever happens coming up next, then Falcons would also be the second team qualified into playoffs before we've even got into anywhere near Super Week. Probably worth stressing, this is our fourth final play day. Next week there are 3 play days. After that it is done. We're then straight into playoffs after that point. So they know.
Whether they were, yeah, they definitely do. The line of sight is just being held down to the side of Cashvan. Gigabyte needs to be careful here about pushing out. Does see one, sees two, and it's just one of those moments where the second man almost saved the first, to be honest, because Gigabyte didn't know who to go for. He's going to take his challenge again, but it could be tough. He finds him. Surely not a second, no! Lasmo's going to shut him down. Lasmo just, again, joining him, just looking for that angle through into open area. Taking down the drone, though. Falcons should be well aware of this and definitely shouldn't be getting caught out by it. It's going to be Virtue who manages to catch out users, though. 3 versus 3, and BDS are holding on well at the minute. Lasmo does manage to find Shaiiko. There was a trade along the way. The Kaiser drops as well. Freck is on a big flank. If they're not aware, it's going to be as easy as that. Takes down Breedy, and BDS get round 1. Plenty of intel coming from the cams she can be used to take out. It's got one shock as well, don't forget, so you can take out a mirror window, you can take out a mute jammer, you know, you can take out a bandit battery, you can do all sorts of things with those cams. It's yeah, very, very powerful, Zero.
There we go. Shaiiko starting off the fragging already. It's Freck to fall down. He's been a bit of a star boy here in the EML. Trade back the other way, mind you, as Shaiiko also falls. Lasmo to go at the same time. Falcons definitely fighting back here, Tim, and showing their claws, sinking them into those 2 players on the side of BDS. And those are the 2 that we saw playing off-site. Still one more here to contend with, as Gigabyte stepping up and looking just for that. Also got a bit of a support coming in from the other side, and Robbie's going to bring down Gigabyte. That's the stuff that you want. But again, these Falcons players just keep on biting back. There's always one more kill to come.
Yeah, that's it. It feels like they're really using that man advantage that they've got. Solotov manages to find himself a 3rd in the round. It's all up to P4 holding on. He gets the 1st. Can he find the 2nd? No, he's unaware of users peeking around the double door, who picks up the final kill. And Falcons get themselves around. And
seeing them being willing to get aggressive with 3 shields, though, not exactly something you look at as being in the Falcons' wheelhouse, especially the Finker on side to juice you up. But Ace is going to be the name of the game, I'm sure. Monty not going to be the fast mover. But I'm looking at Solotov and Breedy and saying, surely they've got to make something happen, but no, they do not. 2 shields have gone out of seemingly nowhere. Robbie's just picking up scouts for fun, Tim. Only one more to go here to close things out and get a flawless round for his team. But Breedy's got it all to do, and this was not how I saw this round going.
Shields? What are shields? BDS just not concerned whatsoever. Take them down nice and easy. And Breedy now finds himself 1v5. It's a matter of time. He's just going to get chipped away at. They're just going to keep pressuring him. There we go. Lasmo manages to get the final kill. And without losing anybody, BDS lock down a flawless round. Go 2-1 up on the defense. And that was actually really well dealt with. You know, if you showed me a lineup of Monty, Blitz and Blackbeard,
how will they succeed?
We're going to see, I was going to say the hatch being opened up now, but they will not, because Robbie is underneath with the Zoto canisters. Will deploy the first, has 2 more to go. So looking at the time that's left, you're probably going to be looking at 30 to 40 seconds on the clock when that hatch opens up, if Falcons want to wait. Although saying that, I've just heard it go, I think. I'm not sure that Robbie's been able to keep it close, but he does manage to find a kill onto Gigabyte, which will certainly be the next best thing.
Sure. Still, of course, to make use of these, has to be so careful with them being shot out, which is why he's kind of jiggling them open here to see if there's a player nearby or not. Right idea, but it's that constant frustration. They always know when there's someone on the hatch as a result. Still, for BDS, this is looking great, Tim. They've still got 3 smokes in back pocket, don't forget. And they're almost teasing them now. They'll lose the evil eye in the process. Not super ideal, but as I mentioned, 3 smokes to play with, and Lasmo is still being such a nuisance.
Yeah, just continues doing that. And like you say, it's burning seconds. Every time that the player has to look away from the hatch, every time that Shaiiko has to take a few shots at the cam, it means he's not focused on what is happening. They're now starting to bait out this utility, but it has missed. There are 2 more smoke canisters in the pocket of Virtue, though, to try and deny this pan. Breeder's going to stick it, but he's not going to have the help.
At this point, they should be able to get away with this. One's got to step in and go again, but they're inhaling smoke too. There's no more to go to. They've got to get the stop here. The Carly comes through, finally gets taken down, and BDS play it to perfection.
Given that it was the Vigil, it might not be the case because, of course, Vigil, you kind of expect him to be playing away from site. So wherever they're playing, if they have returned to site, can often sometimes be a bit of a bonus position. It's just where they're fitting in. So it may not be that anybody needs to move in or that it leaves a specific gap. But we see the light walls go out. Solotov manages to pick up Freck as well. Falcons, it's go time. They need to think about getting in and getting this diffuser down.
Building up enough pressure here that you're into a 5 versus 2. This is not the kind of round the Falcons lose. And sure enough, after 2 flawless rounds of BDS, Falcons get 1 back the other way. 3 rounds in a row where the winning team hasn't lost a single player. Pretty balmy. Oh dear. He's waiting for a second to come, but there's really a second to come. He needs to kind of just go now and get this kill. He's on drone. Who cares? Go on. Just get the kill. Go on.
He's definitely waiting for his moment. He's waiting for a second.
Bro, he's gone for a piss. He's AFK. It's fine. No. 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 Okay.
How many chances? If P4 doesn't come away with that's why he wanted to stay in ATMs.
No.
But he doesn't get the kill on it. If he comes away with...
Oh my God.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
You've got to net a kill there, P4. I understand wanting to deal with the player on rappel, but you have to come away with a kill there. Lasmo just managing to drop in on users who has absolutely no idea. That was an elbow straight from the top row.
Just taking him out like Batman. That was incredible. Okay. This has been a round start. I'll say that much so far, but it's boiled down to a 3 versus 3. So in essence, they've kind of come out all things square. Virtue under pressure. Great shot from Solotov, though. Could have easily gone the other way. But it's Falcons once again in the driving seat, getting closer to that 3-3 scoreline.
One thing I can guarantee is that you will not see many rounds like this in Siege again. It's been absolute chaos so far. Brede manages to get one onto Robbit as well, so it's all up to Lasmo. He had his big moments as he dropped the elevator hatch. Is he going to be able to find any more big moments? I don't think he's got too much intel inside of sight at this point. Not a bad angle to hold, though. Just wait here, be patient. The clock works in your favor. It's effectively a 2 versus 1 at the minute with Solotov downed as well. Brede does have the diffuser in hand. He's not going to start sticking it just yet.
They have no idea where he is.
I like this plan from Lasmo. Just, if they're not going to plan, I'm going to keep letting this burn down.
I mean, he tried. Yeah, that was...
An attempt was made.
A round of Siege was played. That was a very interesting one. Yes, certainly not bad, but obviously, as we always keep saying, Tim, 2 halves to a game of Siege, you can see them completely crumble here, and that's not the best start, because look at what you've lost, Tim. You've lost your Hibana. And there are quite a few hatches that you need to get rid of here. Not going to have a chance to get rid of all of them, so they'll have to pick and choose which ones they want gone. And that's, of course, assuming that P4 walks away from this one alive, and what an unfortunate spot to die in as well. I mean, we saw it in the last map as well when we played here earlier on. It's not always about banning Hibana Ace like every single time you come onto it. Sometimes you don't actually mind so much. You say, you know what, they want the hatches, they're going to get them if they want them another way. They'll bring 6 hard breach gadgets if they have to. Or if we don't really care about playing around White Corridor, then we haven't got to ban those away. It really comes around to what you want to do as a defender, I think, more than anything else. And at least so far, the defenders seem very unbothered by the fact that those bans are, of course, available for them. Breck here is trying to do his very, very best to get Solotov removed inside the garage as that final call comes on through. What a shot from Freck. And with that, actually, this is very winnable, Tim. They've got the garage control. They can slice these defenders up, take control of lots of parts of the map, although Brady gets P4 on the other side. No! This is where it starts to crumble for them in the last 10 seconds or so. Once they're back by fire, Freck will do his very, very best to get to second. But I think at this point, Tim, they are out of time, unless he can punt, of course. Oh, maybe he does. Gets just inside the other side here, starts holding it down. This is a great angle to have cover on, but no, they'd missed the second man coming out through the hatch drop. It's Shaiiko, gets the close they need, and Falcons jumping into the lead once more.
Make sure they're not giving anything away. They're well aware of Users' position. Taken down by Freck again. He's just on that sort of lurking backstab roll and doing it so well over the last couple of rounds. Thinking about getting the plant down. Do avoid the nitro. That's great bait coming out from BDS, and I think that they stick this here.
I love how simple they've kept this whole execute. It's not been complex at all. I only really had the one player out in the windows the whole time. They've just attacked him from square tip. Haven't had to make it particularly complicated. Forced the players back they need to with the one window player. Have made sure Freck was there to deal with the potential ATM's attack as well, or ATM's defense, I guess, to deal with those that were on the windows. It's been beautiful, and as I said, for BDS, you don't come to a map like this unless you've got a plan to bring down the kings of it. And so far, Tim, plan's not looking bad.
Cognizant of that man that's going to be trying to push in behind him there. We go before making the move. It's not going to do the job though. Shaiiko stands up, as does Leak. In fact, that's the 2 shields taken down, and this attack is broken, Des.
They really try, but they've just gone straight into the goo mines of Shaiiko, who has picked them off one after the other. Robbie, can he be the hero that his team needs? I mean, staring down the barrel. Not really a barrel, more like the electronic shield of a clash. It's certainly not going to help. Try as he might here. He's just going to get chased on down and forced back by Brede until the other players in the team can either deal with Freck or come and gang B.
I feel like BDS had done a lot of work then, but not quite enough work because the defenders were still in position inside a site. BDS weren't above them, for example. They weren't in stock trying to force them out of position. They weren't doing anything to make them uncomfortable so that those shields could get the space coming in. And Falcons have, you know, just stood up to them pretty well, pretty easily. So I love that from the Falcons side. Certainly not rattled. Knew that there was no pressure from above. Knew that BDS didn't have the space to play into. Link, in fact, manages to take down Robbie, and surely it's a matter of time for Freck. The clash sees him, his location is being fed back in. Low health and 10 seconds left to go. There's not a realistic chance here.
Yeah, I wonder to what degree if they knew Shaiiko was in the middle of sight there, because he just literally barely moved his feet, spun around and got himself a couple of kills. 2 of those kills being onto shield players as well. Really shouldn't be happening.
They could always win this. You know, this could be an upset every time, even against the big teams. So, yeah, definitely been a lot of fun. We see the challenge coming through. Solotov's going to take a ton of damage. Does get away with it. And Leak, in fact, manages to pick up Robbie, and what a loss there's. That's the Dokkaebi gone.
Yeah, it's a stinger. Oh, the Ying's gone as well. Leak, in fact, captain has stepped up big and got rid of 2 of the most crucial operators in the round. Could he have done one better getting rid of the Sens? Maybe, maybe not. It's in the hands of P4, so maybe you'd say no. But it's a 5 versus 3. These are the kind of rounds that a team like Falcons simply doesn't lose. They're going to be up to 6 and 4, more likely than not, Tim, unless BDS can work some real magic here. But their magician in Robbie is off the board.
Yeah, I mean, BDS, in terms of their operator lineup, they've actually got a very flexible lineup here. So we look at that and we think, you've lost Dokkaebi and you've lost Ying, you've lost what we would normally be saying, you've lost your execution. That's the operators. You're going to use their utility to try and put the diffuser down. But look at what they've got left. They've still got the Sense, they've still got the Grim. They've brought so much potential to get that diffuser down that even 3v5, it's still possible. The important thing for them in the next, I would say, 40 to 50 seconds is to get a couple of kills. They need to just try and level the score a little bit, and then they can create a bit of space. They've got the utility to get a plant down still.
This is the real struggle though, right? Falcons are not going to give you that chance. It was going to happen at some point. Falcons are not going to give you that chance. Every single player is back on site. They are dug in deep. They don't want to worry about swinging and trying to risk their lives going for a silly 1v1 they don't need to. Just sit on site and play for trades. It is as simple as that. They are waiting and ready, and then the BDS are just walking into a death trap.
More than likely, just scoping out the utility as well. We've got at least 1 Vulcan canister left, so they're probably going to have to go deep here. Given the time that's left, Shaiiko manages to pick up Freck. They can go in behind that light wall, but in all honesty, with that Vulcan canister popped, BDS, you just got to get aggressive. You just got to push forward. They can let it burn out, but they're going to have about 15 seconds, and there's a second one there anyway. Somebody from Falcons hits that shot onto the canister. This round is pretty much done. Virtue's going to know that. There's just so little that he can do there. It is absolute ton of damage. He has to just dip back out. They've no choice but to just run in deep and try and find some kills.
And again, this is exactly Falcons playing the way that they should. You want to see an example of how to play out a 5v3 on bank basement. You can just go, maybe not the ending part here, but the rest of it, just go back and watch how they've wasted time there. They've pulled back at the right time. Leak of Fack has hit a blinder of a couple of shots, got away with a couple of kills. And they know then that playing for trades, playing behind the utility, playing behind the sites themselves is the way they see it over, rather than worrying about trying to force out 1v1s around the map. Really impressive composure there and showing how it's done.
Just keep that on permanently. I'm not sure whether he's going to head up Marble or maybe could head up those spiral stairs now that the barbed wire has been moved.
Oh, that is so unlucky.
However,
I say unlucky, you're against Shaiiko, it's going to happen. I wouldn't even put it down to luck, it's all skill. Drops his shield for a second, and a trade comes on through. Freck finds himself at least something, gets rid of Shaiiko, but the damage has been done. That's the X Factor gone, the shield is gone, P4 is gone. Not the strongest of games today, but that really can be said for a couple of players on this team that really need to go big. Without Freck on side, Bobby has stepped into his shoes. But if you have both on side, maybe had a chance against this Falcons side, but the game plan has been figured out, and it feels like Falcons now should be able to walk away with the win.
yeah, again, Falcons are smart here. They're managing the round.
They're
you can see
inside.
Gigabyte was thinking about getting aggressive, but instead he looked at the clock, he dipped back, he thought, now's not the time. And Falcons have played with that clock beautifully. They've just kept themselves just backed away, waited for BDS to move into their crossfires. They find the final couple of kills, and the last couple of rounds especially, Falcons look great for that win.
Falcons is a great team, BDS as well, but Falcons has much better individuals. And in those key moments, in those entry departments especially, Shaiiko was key there, Likefak was key as well. Both of them with 7 entry kills. For me, that was the big difference maker. Whenever they switched to attack, they would die in opening agents way too early.
Is this the first time that we've seen Shaiiko be the MVP for Falcons?
For this stage, yeah.
For this stage, yeah. Obviously for this stage, yeah.
First time ever.
Not in totality. We know of his quality, but it's very much been the salt of all the Leaky Fact shows so far. And Shaiiko's taken a backseat role apart from